Hello everyone, welcome back to the Smoking Sun channel. In this video we'll be looking at a British serial killer named Harold Shipman who attended Leeds School of Medicine and began working as a physician in 1970. Between then and his arrest in 1998, he killed at least 215 and possibly as many as 260 of his patients, injecting them with a lethal dose of painkillers. But before we get going, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos such as this. And here we go. Harold Frederick Shipman, affectionately known as Fred, entered the world on January 14, 1946, as the middle child in a modest working-class family. Raised by a strong-willed mother, Vera, Shipman's childhood was marked by a sense of favoritism, leaving him with a warped perception of his own superiority and leading to social isolation during adolescence. Tragedy struck the Shipman family when Vera was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. Young Harold, deeply fascinated by the alleviating effects of morphine, took on the responsibility of caring for his ailing mother. He closely observed the impact of morphine on her pain and suffering until her passing on June 21, 1963. Her death became a defining moment in Shipman's life, motivating him to pursue a career in medicine. Despite initial setbacks, including failing his entrance exams, Shipman's determination led him to gain admission to Leeds University Medical School. He completed his medical education and served his hospital internship, laying the foundation for his future career. At the age of 19, Shipman, still a solitary figure, found companionship with Primrose, a young woman aged 17 who would soon become his wife. Their union, forged amidst the challenges of early parenthood, marked the beginning of a complex chapter in Shipman's life. By 1974, Shipman was a father of two and had established himself in a medical practice in Todmorden, Yorkshire. Initially, he excelled as a compassionate family practitioner. However, his life took a dark turn when he allegedly succumbed to the grips of his addiction, specifically the painkiller pethidine. Shipman's descent into drug dependency led him down a perilous path, resulting in the forging of prescriptions for substantial quantities of the drug. His illicit activity came to light in 1975, leading to his expulsion from the medical practice and subsequent enrollment in a drug rehabilitation program. Shipman's action caught the attention of his medical colleagues, triggering an inquiry that resulted in the conviction for forgery and a nominal fine. This period of Shipman's life marked the beginning of a troubling pattern, foreshadowing the sinister path he would eventually tread. The events of his early adulthood would serve as a chilling prelude to the darkness that lay ahead, setting the stage for the crimes that would shock the world in the years to come. In the ensuing years, Shipman found the position at Donnybrook Medical Center in Hyde, a role that would provide the backdrop for his unsettling actions. Within the medical community, Shipman cunningly drafted an image as a diligent and trustworthy doctor, endearing himself to patients and colleagues alike. Despite his seemingly dedicated work ethic, whispers of his arrogance circulated among junior staff members, creating a sense of discomfort in his professional interactions. During his nearly two-decade tenure at Donnybrook Medical Center, Shipman's behavior, while occasionally raising eyebrows, failed to trigger significant concern among his peers in the healthcare industry. His ability to maintain a facade of professionalism and competence allowed his darker inclinations to remain hidden beneath the surface, shrouding the community in an unsettling sense of complacency. Little did they know, Shipman's unassuming demeanor masked a sinister reality, one that would later shock the medical world and the entire nation. The astute observation of a local undertaker and Dr. Susan Booth set in motion a chain of events that would eventually unveil Harold Shipman's heinous crimes. The undertaker noticed an unusually high death rate among Shipman's patients and the eerie similarities in their postures after death sparking his concerns. Dr. Booth, too, found these patterns deeply disturbing, prompting her to voice her worries. Alarmed, the local coroner's office was alerted, initiating a covert investigation into Shipman's activities. Initially, Shipman managed to evade suspicion. When questioned, he skillfully reassured those who inquired, maintaining an air of innocence. However, a more comprehensive investigation later revealed the depth of his deception. Shipman had altered his patients' medical records to align with his fabricated cause of death, effectively covering his tracks and misleading any potential inquiries into his actions. Shipman's ability to manipulate his public image as a caring family doctor made it challenging to pinpoint the exact beginning of his killing spree. His denial of all the charges further complicated the authorities' efforts to uncover the truth. It was only through the tenacity of Angela Woodruff, the daughter of one of Shipman's victims, that the nefarious deeds were brought to light. The turning point came with the suspicious death of Kathleen Grundy, a vibrant 81-year-old widow who unexpectedly passed away following Shipman's visit. Woodruff, rightly skeptical of the circumstances surrounding her mother's demise, discovered a peculiar will leaving the majority of Grundy's estate to Shipman. Convinced of foul play, Woodruff reported her suspicions to the police, setting off a rigorous investigation led by Detective Superintendent Bernard Postles. Upon exhumation, a post-mortem examination confirmed Grundy's cause of death, a lethal morphine overdose administered within hours of Shipman's visit. The subsequent raid on Shipman's home yielded crucial evidence, including manipulated medical records, an assortment of jewelry, and an old typewriter used to forge Grundy's will. The seized medical records revealed a chilling pattern. Shipman had urged families to cremate their deceased relatives, discouraging further inquiry into their deaths. In cases where questions arose, he supplied falsified computerized medical notes that supported his fabricated cause of death. This disturbing revelation illuminated the extent of Shipman's deception and underscored the urgency of the ongoing investigation. Shipman's actions not only shattered the lives of his victims, but also eroded the trust within the community he served. As the authorities delved deeper, the shocking scope of his crimes began to emerge, leaving a nation in disbelief at the depths of his malevolence. In the courtroom, the sinister details of Harold Shipman's crimes were laid bare during his trial, revealing the extent of his malevolence. The prosecution meticulously presented evidence, including the chilling fact that Shipman often altered medical records immediately after killing a patient. Unbeknownst to him, each alteration was time-stamped by the computer, leaving a digital trail for investigators to follow. After thorough investigations, which involved multiple exhumations and autopsies, Shipman was officially charged with 15 counts of murder and 1 count of forgery on September 7, 1998. His trial commenced in Preston Crown Court on October 5, 1999. Shipman's defense attempted various strategies, such as requesting separate trials for cases with and without physical evidence, and trying to exclude damning evidence related to his fraudulent accusations of drugs. However, these attempts were futile, and the trial proceeded with the 16 charges outlined in the indictment. The prosecution argued that Shipman's motive was a twisted desire for control over life and death, dismissing any claims of compassion, as none of his victims were terminally ill. Angela Woodruff, the daughter of one of Shipman's victims, appeared as the first witness. Her unwavering determination to uncover the truth impressed the jury, and Shipman's defense struggled to undermine her credibility. The government pathologist presented the gruesome findings from the postmortems, emphasizing morphine toxicity as the cause of death in most cases. Fingerprint analysis of the forged will debunked any doubts about its authenticity, and a police computer analysis testified about Shipman's manipulation of computer records to fabricate symptoms that his deceased patients never exhibited. As the trial progressed to other victims, a disturbing pattern emerged. Shipman's lack of compassion, disregard for relatives' wishes, and reluctance to attempt resuscitations were compounded by another fraud. He would feign calling emergency services in front of grieving relatives, only to cancel the call when the patient was confirmed dead. Telephone records revealed that these calls were never made. Evidence of Shipman's drug hoarding was also presented. He engaged in false prescribing, providing morphine to patients who didn't require it while overprescribing it to others. Moreover, proof surfaced of his visits to the homes of the recently deceased to collect unused drug supplies under the pretense of disposal. Throughout the trial, Shipman's arrogant demeanor and constantly changing stories, coupled with his evident lies, did little to sway the jury in his favor. Despite the lack of direct witnesses to his heinous acts, the jury was convinced by the compelling testimonies and substantial evidence presented. After a thorough summation by the judge, emphasizing that no one had witnessed Shipman's directly killing any of his victims, the jury reached a unanimous verdict on the afternoon of January 31, 2000. Shipman was found guilty on all charges, 15 counts of murder and 1 count of forgery. This landmark ruling marked the end of Shipman's reign of terror, holding him accountable for the lies he had callously taken. The aftermath of Harold Shipman's trial sent shockwaves through the medical community and the entire nation. The gravity of a doctor murdering 15 patients was deeply unsettling, but further investigation unveiled an even more horrifying reality. A clinical audit led by Professor Richard Baker from the University of Leicester meticulously examined Shipman's patient case list history. The findings were staggering. Rates of death among Shipman's elderly patients were significantly higher, particularly clustered at specific times of the day. Shipman was present at an unusually high number of these cases. The audit estimated that Shipman might have been responsible for the deaths of at least 236 patients over a 24-year period. Simultaneously, an inquiry commission chaired by High Court Judge Dame Janet Smith delved into the record of 500 patients who had died under Shipman's care. The comprehensive 2,000-page report suggested that Shipman likely murdered at least 218 of his patients. However, Dame Janet clarified that this number was an estimation, as some cases lacked sufficient evidence for certainty. The commission raised a chilling possibility. Shipman might have been addicted to killing. The inquiry also criticized the police investigation procedures, highlighting missed opportunities to bring Shipman to justice earlier due to the lack of experience among investigating officers. Shipman's dark journey might have begun soon after he obtained his medical license with the suspected murder of 60-year-old Margaret Thompson on March 1971. However, deaths before 1975 were never officially proven. Regardless of the exact number, Shipman's heinous activities elevated him from a British patient killer to the world's most prolific known serial killer. Throughout these investigations, Shipman staunchly maintained his innocence. He received unwavering support from his wife Primrose and his family. He was initially held at Durham Prison, but was later transferred to Wakefield Prison in June of 2003, making family visits more convenient. On the morning of January 13, 2004, prison authorities discovered Shipman hanging in his cell at Wakefield Prison. He had used bed sheets tied to the window bars of his cell to end his own life. Despite his death, there remained a shroud of mystery surrounding the whereabouts of his remains. Conflicting accounts emerged. Some had claimed his body stayed at the Sheffield morgue, while others believed that the family had taken custody, possibly due to the suspicion of foul play in the cell. These uncertainties created a haunting epilogue to the life of a man who had committed unimaginable atrocities and left the nation grappling with the horror of his crimes. That will do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Stay curious, everyone, and see you next time.